Today, Hugo Chavez, the dictator of Venezuela, called Israel a genocidal state. Then, the Turkish Prime Minister, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, banned many or most Israeli military flights over Turkey. We're not talking about jet fighters. There was a flight taking Israeli officers for a commemoration ceremony in Auschwitz, and he wouldn't allow it to fly over Turkey. Well, maybe that's because Turkey denies their genocide of the Armenians. But then you have Tom Friedman and yesterday's New York Times, the Sunday edition, accusing Israel of brutally attacking Hezbollah and Hamas, these are terrorist organizations, and being prepared to assault Gaza without concern for civilian casualties. The assault against Israel that we're witnessing now has no precedent. It's truly unprecedented. Why is this happening? Well, people are trying to delegitimize Israel. A lot of it is anti-Israel hatred. A lot of it is anti-Semitism. But the reason they feel they can get away with it now is that we have an American president who never defends Israel. You see, the United States, which is the world's foremost democracy, the modern world's earliest republic, and the great defender of human rights and freedom throughout the world, was always Israel's greatest defender because Israel is an American-style democracy in a region of complete and utter tyranny. Israel is the only place where Arabs vote, except for Iraq, for their own leaders. It's the only place where they can appeal to the Israeli Supreme Court, to a Supreme Court, for their rights to be adhered to, guaranteed, et cetera, et cetera. Israel is an incredible, thriving, flourishing democracy. Not so the 22 Arab nations that surround it, which again, with the exception of Iraq, are mostly ruled by kings, princes, tyrants, dictators. So the United States always defended Israel because this country is the great defender of democracy. But now we have an American president who never defends Israel, never. We get lucky when he's just neutral, when he just sees Israel slammed and attacked, just doesn't say anything. So the bar has been brought really low. Now anyone can attack Israel because they see that even the American president doesn't really care. We have Ahmadinejad constantly threatening to destroy Israel, wipe it off the map. We have Turkey, that Erdogan is just a threat to Turkey's democracy. Turkey was such a special country, this secular Islamic republic where people were very religious, but their religion was not translated into government policy. It was a very open society where Erdogan is changing all that. And Obama is losing all of these countries as allies, and he has nothing to show for it. Remember the big smile he gave Hugo Chavez? Remember the double-handed embrace he gave Chavez? What did he get from it? Chavez is out of control. Erdogan's out of control. These people are just becoming more and more distant from the United States, more and more distant from democratic values, because when you cozy up to them, Obama went all the way to Istanbul and gave a major speech, and yet Turkey is more anti-West than ever before. When you cozy up to these people and you never take a firm line and you let them behave with impunity, then they just see it as a tacit approval. They understand that there's no consequences for their behavior, no consequences for their actions. That would explain why these rogue nations are turning against democracy and suppressing the rights of their peoples. It wouldn't explain someone like Tom Friedman, who is not an anti-Semite, he himself is Jewish, he won 2 Pulitzer Prizes. How could he possibly say that Israel attacked Gaza without thought or without being deterred by the thought of civilian casualties? Is he out of his mind? You know how the restraint Israel practices? But the Palestinians just keep on coming back to kill and destroy, murder, dismember, blow up Israeli civilians. How many Israelis have to die before people like Tom Friedman allow Israel to defend itself? Friedman comes really close to a blood libel against the Jewish state. When you speak about Israel not caring about civilian casualties, that is just a bold-faced lie. That is a blood libel, a bold-faced lie. And it shows that Friedman at times has contempt for these struggling democracies who are trying to uphold their values and their freedoms and their liberties amidst an existential threat and existential assault. Tom Friedman, how did the United States and Britain, 2 great democracies, behave in the Second World War when they thought that they were facing an existential threat, and they were, from Adolf Hitler? You know what they did? They carpet bombed German cities without any thought of civilian casualties. We used nuclear weapons against Japanese cities. I'm reading that book now, Last Train from Hiroshima, about how the people were instantly incinerated in ground zero of Hiroshima. Ground zero then was a mile. Were these actions justified? Well, no one wants to see civilians die. No one wants to see non-combatants die. But what choice were these countries given when they were engaged in total war? Now, you can make the case that modern-day weapons are more precise, and yes, they are. But terrorists not only attack civilians and target civilians, they also hide behind civilians. So what does Tom Friedman want Israel to do? Just let its civilians continue to die? Have 10,000 rockets fired from Gaza and not have a strong response? Israel practiced restraint for so many years in the hope that these rockets would stop. So it just goes to show you, even a smart man like Tom Friedman can just be so utterly silly. He's fallen too in love with his own words, but they're utterly unjust. Anyway, those are my thoughts for the day. I hope that this situation will get better, and we'll monitor it. God bless you all.